Let me ask you this. How much time do you spend in your own head? How often do you replay conversations, worry about the future, or stress over things that you can't control? For most people, the answer to that question is too much. Anxiety and overthinking are killers. They drain your energy, they paralyze your decision making, and they keep you stuck in your own mind instead of living your life. But what if I told you there's a way to break free from it? Not by calming down or just think positive, but by training your mind the way that the ancient Stoic philosophers and today's modern warriors do. Today, we're breaking down the Stoic way to deal with anxiety and overthinking. Because if you can master your mind, if you can create your own inner citadel, then nothing in life can shake you. Welcome to Success by Design, where we break down all the principles of success, mindset, and personal growth. I'm Tom Blackledge, and this podcast is all about giving you the tools to take control of your life, to build resilience, and design your own way to success through personal and self-development. So, on to today's topic. Let's get started with part one. Why do we overthink? Before we fix overthinking, we need to understand it and learn why it is that we do it. So what are some of the root causes of overthinking and anxiety? Well, number one is the fear of the unknown. We stress about things that we can't predict nor control. Number two, we create or develop an attachment to outcomes. We get stuck worrying about what may or may not happen. And if our expectations that we've set in our mind aren't met, we end up worrying even more so. Number three is a perceived lack of control. We believe that we've got more control to the present moment than we actually do. And then when reality proves otherwise, it can make many of us feel anxious. Being a fighter taught me so much about how our minds work. It's that what led me down the path to coaching and to changing people's mindsets. Think about a fighter before a fight. I've seen many fighters sit there. Sometimes, like I write about in Fearless by Design, myself included, they'll sit there obsessing over anything and everything that could go wrong. The mind will just play tricks on them all the time. What if I get knocked out? What if I gas out? What if I get tired? What if people don't think I'm any good? What are people going to say about me if I lose? What if I don't perform? What if I look silly? But if we're thinking in that way, it's very likely that we've already lost. Or at least we're going to struggle to perform to our best. But the best fighters, those who do perform at the best, the ones who are used to competing and thriving in those high pressure moments, the ones that keep the composure, they stay present. They focus on what they can control, and then they let go of everything else. Just like all the great spiritual teachings, they focus on that present moment. One of the greatest quotes from the Stoic Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius is, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Overthinking is a mental fight that you have with yourself. And like any fight, the key is in the way that we prepare for it, and ultimately about controlling our response. The Stoic perspective. Anxiety is a choice. Here's the first Stoic principle that you need to understand to help you deal with an overactive mind. Anxiety isn't caused by events. It's caused by your interpretation of those events. Two people can go through the exact same situation. One panics, but the other stays calm. Why is that? Because anxiety does not come from the outside world. It comes from how we think about it, how we view the situation. Epictetus said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view with which they take them." The Stoics handled anxiety through understanding these things. 1. Control your perception. You decide whether something is bad or if it's just an event. Understand that you can reframe the way that you view things, the way that you look at things. You can change it. Number 2 was the detach from outcomes. Focusing on exact results creates stress. Focusing on action eliminates stress. Employing a growth mindset of focusing on the process and not on the outcome creates freedom, and it relinquishes that pressure. Being able to do this will empower you more, way more than you realize. Number 3, stay present. The past, that's gone. The future, you've not experienced that yet. The only thing that exists is now, the current moment. So be here now. Think about rolling in jiu-jitsu. The more you overthink, the worse you're going to perform. The more desperate you are to hit a certain move, or you're listening to that voice in your head telling you how you should be able to do this or that, then you struggle. But if you relax and you stay in the moment, you find it much easier to flow effortlessly, attacking and responding accordingly to your opponent. That's pretty much just like embracing Stoicism in your day-to-day life. Part 3. 3 Stoic strategies to overcome overthinking. All right, now let's get practical. Here are 3 Stoic strategies that you can use right now to stop overthinking and deal with your anxiety. Number 1 is the dichotomy of control. You focus on what you can control. Most anxiety comes from trying to control things that you can't. Other people, the future, external events. When we sit or we lay in bed worrying, having visions of all the things that we don't want to happen, it's always about outcomes that we try to control. I must do this, or I can't let this happen. This must happen a certain way. The Stoics mastered this by focusing only on what they could influence and developing and mastering the ability to ignore the rest. So here's an action step for you. Next time you catch yourself overthinking, ask, is this in my control? If the answer is no, let it go. If the answer is yes, decide what you need to do and then take the appropriate action. Like Epictetus said, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. Number 2, negative visualization. Prepare for the worst. Stop fearing it. The Stoics trained themselves to imagine worst case scenarios, not to scare themselves, but to be free from fear. By visualizing failure or the things they didn't want to happen, they took the power away from that thing. So before a fight, instead of hoping that everything goes perfectly, imagine the worst. What if you get took down? What if you get hit? What if you get cut? What if you lose? If you've already accepted those possibilities and lived within them for a minute, they won't shake you when they happen or in fear of anticipation of them happening. You'll have a plan in place already of what to do in response. So the next time that you're anxious about something, don't push that fear away, or even worse, like try to hide away from it or pretend that it isn't even there. Turn and face it. Then ask yourself, what's the worst that could realistically happen? And if it did, could I handle it? 9 times out of 10, the answer is yes. So don't allow yourself to sit there worrying and losing your strength due to overthinking. Remember what Seneca said. He who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary. Number 3, voluntary discomfort. Train your mind to handle stress. The more you expose yourself to difficult situations, the less anxiety has a power over you. This is why fighters spar, why warriors train under pressure. It's not just about physical preparation, it's mental preparation. This is one of the reasons that I recommend everyone compete in something. It doesn't have to be combat sports, but once you've felt pressure, like that of being inside a cage in front of possibly thousands of people, a lot of other things feel pretty easy. Like, think about it like this. If you avoid discomfort anxiety controls you. But if you put yourself in tough situations regularly, like cold showers, hard training, difficult conversations, your mind's going to toughen up. So here's another action step for you to do. I want you to do one thing every day that makes you feel uncomfortable. It doesn't have to be extreme, just something that pushes your limits. And over time, you'll start seeing anxiety for what it is. It's a test. It's not a threat. You'll develop the resilience from keeping exposing yourself to these things. Marcus Aurelius said, you should not give circumstances the power to rouse anger, for they don't care at all. In other words, life doesn't care how you feel, but you can train yourself to care less about the things that don't matter. Part 4. How to apply this to everyday life. So how do you take this Stoic mindset and apply it in real life? Here's a simple 3-step process. Number 1, when you feel anxiety coming on, pause, take a breath, and recognize that it's just a thought. It's not your reality. 2, create a little distance between the thought and the instinctual reaction and ask yourself, is this in my control? If not, let it go. If yes, take action. Number 3, train your mind through discomfort. The more that you push yourself, the less anxiety will control you. Anxiety and overthinking are habits. And like any habit, they can be broken and untrained. All it takes is some awareness, some discipline, and just the right mindset. So here's your challenge. For the next 24 hours, anytime that you feel yourself overthinking, stop. And allow that to be a reminder to ask yourself, is this in my control? Then act accordingly. The more that you continue to do this, you'll start to notice how your mind will begin to change. Now, if this episode helped you, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. And let me know what's one thing that you tend to overthink. If you're a fighter or a competitor, how have you dealt with them nerves before? Drop a comment or message me, and please don't forget to subscribe and go to the site tomblackledge.com for information on my development courses, books, and my blogs. And as always, I appreciate every share from everybody and everybody who watches. Till next time, take care.